we're talking about how your wife is not your boss.
But we're not going to talk about that until you hit like and subscribe. So, welcome back to the Hive Mind. Hit like, subscribe.
And it's okay. We won't wait.
Yeah. We got all evening with a nice fire that you're
Letting us sit next
that
to
much more disconnected
warm ourselves
from us by not having and not hearing us.
Well, look, they're hitting like. Well, thank you very much.
Yes, thanks for hitting like. Thanks for hitting subscribe.
We will continue.
You are a winner. You were beforehand. You just didn't know it because you didn't have our validation.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
so
now,
why doesn't
now
your-
let's begin. So obviously, I don't think any man would admit their wife being their boss. But what happens in relationships often is men lose their own agency. They lose their own ability to make decisions on their own and think of themselves as a leader in themselves. Yeah. And they defer all their decisions. Oh, my wife, I need to talk about this with my wife, I need to talk about that with my wife. And it comes down to everything. Oh, I have to disappoint my wife if I do this or that. When you still have to realize, yes, you are together, right? You're there to care for her. But you still need to take care of yourself
You're still
as a
separate
man and
individual.
lead yourself too. And she doesn't want you to defer everything to her. She doesn't want to have that type of responsibility. She doesn't want to know that her opinion will sway you. She wants you to be your own independent man and be able to direct yourself and not need to lean on somebody else to do it for you. And this usually happens subtly in relationships. Men don't realize this, but they lose their own sense of direction. And they give that to their wife to be able to do that for you. And that's what happens. That's when the wife becomes essentially the boss and makes all the decisions. And everything has to go through her. When you guys still must maintain your independence, and that's what will help the relationship flourish. You maintain
And
that.
it sounds like what you're saying is you have to maintain a strong sense of self, right? How would you go about doing that?
Maintaining
A strong sense of
being
self.
independent. You have to exercise what I like to call your independent mind. Know what you do together and know what you do separately.
Yeah, that's actually good.
You have to know, especially with even like regular decisions, know what has to do with like, no, I don't know, from kids or whatever. If you have kids.
Yeah, but even that can be done separately. There's a lot of stuff. I think you can really look at your relationship and see if this is where you're at, or if this is where you're going towards, or if this is where you don't want to be. When you look and you say, oh wow, we don't do anything apart, and there's some things that like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's like what our friend was talking about the other day with mountain biking, right? And his wife wanted to go and she couldn't keep up, and it was kind of a burden. Like, he enjoys biking with her, he wants her to be with him, he enjoys her company, so it's not that he doesn't want her there, but there's just some things that you go and do with other people and you don't need to be,
Yeah.
just like your wife probably wants to have a baby shower with her girlfriends when one of them's pregnant. Like, that's not really something I want to do as a guy. I don't sit around saying I can't wait for my wife's friend to have a baby so that we can have a baby shower. Like, that's something your wife can do separately, knowing she's still loved and can do that. And the same thing for you. It's like there's like poker night. Oh, your wife doesn't like poker and you do? All right, there's nothing wrong with you playing poker away from your wife, and your wife doesn't have to be there.
Yeah. And that's
That's your interest.
Yeah, and that's exactly, it's your interest. It has nothing to do with your wife.
Yeah. And there's some things where like your wife and you do have similar interests. It's like, oh, you both like fishing, you both like biking, you both like being outside, but like sometimes you're gonna go hang out with the boys because bonding with other men is important.
Absolutely. And there's things you want to do in your household that she may not want to do. But it's like you still have to account for yourself and not just always give it to your wife. Oh, this is what she wants. Blah blah blah. What about what you want too? It's like there's an attraction that also brings. Like, people think about, we have to be the same, but what do they usually say people are attracted to? The differences. right? And that's maintaining that independent self and not just becoming dependent on each other on the same goal. This is why different activities you do. Maintain that difference. When you do everything together, you guys are becoming the same. But when you maintain that independence, you guys still maintain your unique differences.
Everything's ready in here if you guys want to eat now.
And
All
that
right,
doesn't,
thank you.
That doesn't mean you have to reject your partner
Absolutely,
and
no.
be like,
Yeah.
you know, you're not allowed to come. Like, no, there's just a balance. You know, it's some things you do on your own, some things you do together. You know, some things you will do together because you like doing them together, and some things you won't do together, even though you both like doing them together. And I think there's a lot of areas where this gets really blurred. And like you said, children's a great example. You know, people are like, well, we're married now, or we have children, or you know, or we only have one car, so we have to do everything together. It's like, no, you know, you can be like, I'm taking the children out for breakfast because, you know, I want to spend time as a father with the kids, and you know, maybe just like you might be working all day, and maybe she is a stay-at-home mother and spends all day with the kids. You know, it's like one parent bonding with their children doesn't mean the other one has to be there all the time.
Right.
So,
and let's get to some.
and it's okay
prime
with
examples.
very clearly saying no. I want to take my children out, just me and them. You know, the four of us can take a walk later together, or the four of us can spend tomorrow together, or the four of us can spend, you know, a period of the day together when we come home. You know,
Mhm.
so saying no is okay. First off, or like
Absolutely.
10th off.
Yeah, I want to get to some examples. So there was a gentleman I met who he just started buying. He wanted to own and shoot guns and be gun shooting instructor. And I remember talking to me, and he was sharing how for years he said his wife wouldn't let him own guns in the house because of the kids, blah 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 blah.
That brings up a lot of good points.
And he didn't. And then he said she finally let me own guns in the house. And what happens is I think men totally defer to their wives, where they put their own interests aside in themselves in this not even sacrificial way, but this like dependent way, where like I can't upset. Like it's not the sacrificial. It's not like, oh, I sacrificed this because I love you. It's just dependent because I don't want you to freak out. I don't want you to be on bad terms with me.
Right, I need you to be stable and calm and relaxed
Exactly.
and
And
at peace. There can be no
and the
conflict.
question was before, like, why didn't you do that before? You know, like, why did you let your wife decide that for you?
Well, and what was
how-
any different about 2 years ago when she said no, and 2 years later when she said no, because the kids were 2 years older? I mean, what's the difference between owning guns then and owning guns now?
Yeah.
I mean,
Great question.
so and there might be a few differences you could argue, but here's the thing: is what do you want, right? And is it important, right? Oh, that's an important hobby of yours. Then it's important for you to express that that's an important hobby, that's an important want in your life, and to be able to say, this is our house. I understand you're afraid of guns, or you don't want guns because there's children, and so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to buy guns, and I'm going to lock them up, right? There's still an area of compromise where you can obviously practice responsibility and maturity in dangerous habits, and I think that's part of a man's job too, is to be able to say, there are dangerous things in the world, honey. We can't shield our kids from everything. In fact, we're not going to shield our kids from everything, especially if kids is the common denominator for you saying no. Like the same thing with your relationship. Your girlfriend might be like, you're not allowed to go do that. That's dangerous. It's like, no, the world is a dangerous place. I'm not afraid of danger. I'll be careful. I hope you trust me. I'm going to go do, dangerous things with my boys, or go for this mountain hike by myself, or whatever it is. The world's a dangerous place. It's a man's job to say, it's dangerous. I intend to make it safe, or face the danger carefully, properly.
Yeah. This doesn't mean don't listen to advice from your wife.
Right, you can
Not
you
at
can,
all.
and
I don't don't take this as a 360. Oh, she's not my boss. I can do whatever I want.
Right.
From, oh, she's my boss. I have to listen to her.
But you have to understand, saying no to everything is the other side of the 180. Not doing anything is the extreme. It's one extreme. It's completely silencing yourself, right? And then only doing everything in your interest is the other extreme, right? There's a balance where all of your needs are met. But man, I just lost it. If you've been keeping score of how many times I lose my train of thought on this show, make sure you hit like. Shoot.
Just tally it up.
Yeah, just tally it up.
Just one more.
But those I don't know.
It's
It's
all
gone.
right.
It's gone. Whatever.
See, Andrew has so many brilliant ideas.
I do.
You can't
Yeah.
keep them
I just can't
all
even
together.
keep track of them all.
Yeah, they come and they
Yeah.
circle back around, and then watch the next podcast we do. They'll come back.
Yeah. The next one's gonna be even better, if you could believe that, which is gonna be hard to believe, but
Yeah, that's why I subscribe so you can see the next one.
yes. Yeah. You want to get that
It's probably a good
notification
idea.
for when that pops up. It is.
Absolutely,
It's
yeah.
not even probably a good idea. It is a
It
good
is a
idea.
good
You are
idea.
so full of good ideas. If you want to hear more good ideas that he has, not even my good ideas, you haven't even heard those yet. And we want to hear your good ideas. It's that much easier to share your good ideas with us when you're following us. So you can drop a
Yeah,
comment. We want to
exactly.
hear your good ideas
Uh-huh.
too. But yeah,
And we'll inspire comments in you because we'll have talk about it.
and questions.
Yeah.
Ask questions. Life was meant to be full of questions that you ask. Oh, it makes life so much more meaningful. But anyway, so we're talking about, not letting your wife run your life.
Take away your agency.
Yes, take away your agency, right?
Your
And
ability to make decisions, just decisions for yourself.
I think that comes back to really just, again, self-awareness, knowing what you want, and then building up that confidence to speak it. Because a lot of times that you don't have that confidence. That's totally understandable, right? But it's not that you shouldn't have that confidence, right? It's important that you learn how to have it and have a voice and have a say in the relationship, because everybody has a job in the relationship, and you have to make sure that to do your job properly, you're being your authentic self. You're being the person you want to be, because you're going to take away from that. Man, it's a
Absolutely.
shame I lost that thought. Such a bummer.
Well, we had some
But
other
sit
good
with us
thoughts
around
in
this
mind.
warm fire. Maybe it'll come back to me.
We'll just wait, and then
Yeah.
we'll wait for you to comment.
Yeah, if you haven't dropped a comment yet, what would you like to hear about? Things spitting water.
Sad.
This is not our finest fire.
It's fine though.
But you're here for the podcast, not the fire, so.
The fire's for us.